Good morning, everyone. Brian here with BMK Retro Gaming. This morning, I have for us a little bit of an interesting review. Today is actually Godzilla Day 2023, which, depending on releases such as, I think we either have had or are about to have Godzilla -1 or the upcoming Godzilla vs. Kong. Godzilla X Kong, the New Kingdom, which I think is supposed to be in next March. It sometimes varies from year to year, depending on things like that. And you guys probably have heard me say before that the kaiju, giant monster genre of films and other media is among my favorites, and Godzilla is probably the biggest kaiju giant monster that you can get. So I decided we should celebrate a bit today. When I did my video on the Atari VCS 2600 Rampage arcade board, I probably mentioned something of this. At least of my love for kaiju giant monster films and other media, so. As a matter of fact, also being a volunteer amateur pet detective in my vocation, I really do enjoy films and books, other media, television shows featuring private detectives or private investigators, amateur detectives, amateur sleuths, citizen detectives, stuff like that. But this is probably my favorite beyond stuff like that. Who doesn't enjoy watching the kaiju giant monsters be destructive and fight each other and stuff? And it took until I got to being an adult, I've been into this since I was a kid. It took into my adult years to come to appreciate the human plots a bit more, since they help to tie everything together. But so long as they do a good job with that, yeah, they're not really what most people come and watch them for, but it's still good when you have that aspect. And they've actually done a good job with it, so it really makes a coherent picture. Anyway, happy Godzilla Day 2023 for one. And to celebrate, we're going to play a little bit of Super Godzilla, the Nintendo SNES game from 1993. Let's see, it was Advanced Communication Company did the development work, and it was published by Toho Co. Ltd. Back in 93 in the Japanese market and 1994 in the North American market, with Masato Tokino, Junichi Tsunoda, Seigo Taniguchi, Michiharu Hasuya serving as producers, and Hasuya, along with Junko Yokoyama, were responsible for the composition of sound effects and music. It's pretty interesting. It goes through about the first, excuse me, looks like we got a little bit of, there we go. Guess there was a little bit of, thing on the, anyway, the Heisei era, which I should know how to pronounce that, coming from an mostly Irish descended family on my adopted mother's side, who you'd swear were probably Asian by their traditions, customs, and other ways about them. You know, I learned a lot of not just Japanese, but other Asian language speaking growing up. But still, I'm not sure if you pronounce it Heisei, however you pronounce. It's the second era of Godzilla films, which started out with Godzilla in 1984, which I believe was called either Godzilla Returns or The Return of Godzilla, which we got here in the North American market as Godzilla 1985. And then, of course, you got the you got what was called Godzilla vs. Biollante, or Biollante, I forget how you pronounce it. Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. And finally, the fourth one that factors in here was Godzilla vs. Mothra, The Battle for Earth, or Mothra vs. Godzilla, Batra, The Battle for Earth. I forget how it was. I used to have a copy of all these, you know, but it's been a while. Recollecting currently, so sue me if you could. Anyway, you can kind of tell it's been a while since my personal barber has been around, so. But you guys usually come, and girls come here. My audience comes here more for the game content and other things like that than for me, so you just have to forgive that my appearance needs a lot of cleaning up at the moment. Anyway, here's my little loose cartridge I got from my local game exchange retailer, Super Godzilla. Now you can see that very well. It unfortunately has a little bit of a mark that was torn out of the label. But we can see kind of there's Godzilla there. You can barely see the Toho stuff up there in that corner. And you can see a little bit of the Godzilla's here and kind of fighting King Ghidorah. I picked up there for about $6.95 before tax, so since I don't have the receipt, I don't remember exactly how much after tax, but it wasn't too bad. Back when this released here in '94, my adopted mother-in-law knew that I was a fan of the genre and all, and it was one of my big things, so she bought me a copy. So when I got the chance to recollect it as an adult over there, I went ahead and did that. And this one's not perfect, but maybe one day I'll get one that's better looking and all. But for now, this works just fine. Anyway, I've got my FC Twin to throw it in, and we're going to go ahead and do that. And we'll take a look at the gameplay by playing through level 1. So let me get that set up, and we will go ahead and do it. Okay, so here we go with some Super Godzilla gameplay. Shows us Godzilla coming up there, which is nice touch, pretty much. Okay, we're just going to go to game start. The options don't really give you much else, so. Basically what they've done here is kind of like will be introduced, I believe it's in the film Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla, which hadn't released yet. They've developed a control device which they can use to temporarily take control of Godzilla on occasion, so. Okay, so we've got Godzilla here. That darker portion of the water, even though he's fully aquatic, being somewhere between a dinosaur and somewhat amphibian, unfortunately Godzilla gets slowed down in water, and the darker water is worse about it. Use the D-pad here to control his direction on the map, and you see him as he moves. This, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, that's a warp zone. The little yellow ones are either that or special items you can use in battle. Ooh, here's one I can pick up for helping me out. Defense increase item. Right, there are certain directions I don't want you to try to take with him. I didn't say go that way, silly. I said go right. Stupid thing. Tanks. The military still doesn't like Godzilla despite the fact that he's supposed to be the good guy here, or helpful anyway. Well, less straight military as Japanese defense forces. Right, that's another thing. Sometimes these things have advice instead. Okay, old King Ghidorah should be down here somewhere. I'm changing the daggum direction again. And you can walk straight through and demolish buildings, although it does cost you a little bit of his health energy points. Yes, I know we're moving around to Socket Castle now. And where'd he go to? We don't have time to have to try to hunt King Ghidorah down now. Don't want to sleep that long on a minor game session. Aha. Dum Dum decided he's gonna play tricky with me. I don't care. Yes, I know he's around there somewhere. You're gonna make me go all the way around just to get over there. Damn. Oh, shut up. So I tried to change his direction too fast. So what? It's so decking annoying that they want me to just have to move him every which way to get one place. Even that doesn't fully restore his energy. Helps, but, you know. And that little pink thing is our enemy. Why, you... Might as well see what this is. Ooh, super energy refill. Might come in handy. Yep, King Ghidorah's at this point. Basically, on the map, it's just directional pad to move him, and you don't do much else. But here, I forget if it's A or B button, since the FC Twin controller is kind of more like a Sega Genesis controller. But that's the one you use in battle to punch, and then what they're talking about, Ferocious Fighting Spirit, is you pull him back until you get an item selected. And for a special attack, and you press the button to launch it. Sorry I'm going through that a bit quick, but I'm just trying to get it done. Okay, there we go. We got Ghidorah down by some. Ah, tail spike. King Ghidorah is not really, for a first enemy in the game, it's not seriously one of the worst things you could do. Oh boy. He can be a pain though, occasionally. Why you three-headed rat bastard? They're called gravity beams, genius. Well, usually. Headbutt attack. About the only attacks he doesn't have here are a claw swipe or, scratch and, bite attack straight up, so. Yeah, but pretty decent moves as it goes. There's this version of his nuclear breath, and there's a much more potent one. Oh, he wants to play, huh? There's an energy refill, so he can't get me down that easy. I'm still a bit under him, but I can take him out before he gets a chance to finish me off. No tail swipe. Great. Headbutt. I don't recall seeing Godzilla do that one in any film, so would be cool though. Honestly, the graphics animation for Godzilla and Ghidorah both like right here, and even otherwise, like these sequences here are pretty decent. Looks pretty good. If not as great as on film or anything, he still looks within reason like Godzilla. And one punch is all it took to... No, he's not done. I thought I pretty much knocked his sorry rear out. Darn it, he managed to knock me out instead. Oh well, I lost for a little slip up, but that's basically the way the gameplay goes for level 1. Would have won instead, but that's the breaks. Here's kind of your continue screen too. Okay, so that was pretty much the first level of Super Godzilla. It's a pretty decent game. Unfortunately, I lost it, but that's what I get for trying to narrate and being partly distracted instead of just playing the game. Content creators, sometimes happens. Usually, I would just beat King Ghidorah, he'd be knocked out, would be on to level 2, which your second main enemy at the end of the level is Mecha Godzilla. The robotic one. Except, as you see, they used the one from the first era of Godzilla films, the Showa era, which, the thing is, in I forget if it was 93 or what, but, at the time of this game's development, they were using for the Japanese version the Heisei or Heisei era Mechagodzilla, which is actually human built and controlled, though still looks and seems a lot like the original. But the film, which Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2, which is actually not a sequel to the Showa era Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, at least not directly, because the actual technical sequel to that one was the next movie after it, Terror of Mechagodzilla, in the Showa era. So, weird naming convention. But anyway, that film hadn't debuted and made its way over to the North American market yet, so they didn't want to release the game, including any potential spoilers, so they switched out the Heisei or Heisei era Mechagodzilla for the Showa era one, and gave him more characteristics like that, so as not to give anything away. After that, you face Biolante or Biolante, the plant gods, the one that's more like a plant. She's actually a combination. She's had genes spliced together to create her from a rose, the scientist's deceased daughter, and Godzilla's own G cells himself. So she's a weird one. That's what you get for the third stage enemy. Then for stage 4, you get Batra, which is a black version, a dark version of Mothra released by the Earth to deal with Mothra. And so it's not really a bat, it's just, Batra, Black Mothra. And it also has an egg laid, which will hatch, and you'll have to fight it again if you don't get to it and destroy it after that battle real quick. Then the next stage, they bring back King Ghidorah as Mecha King Ghidorah, kind of like they did in the Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah Heisei era film, in which somebody goes back to some point in the future and uses future technology to turn him into a cyborg mech and brings him back to stop Godzilla, which the reason why that happened is because they thought that the Godzillasaurus, which they had eliminated from the past to try to prevent Godzilla from happening in the future, well, they didn't realize he was also going to be created later on by a Soviet or something like that nuclear submarine incident. So they send some to create him anyway to stop the King Ghidorah, which these Futurians, who aren't really working with them but against them, have unleashed and turn in. They use these little creatures called Dorats to get irradiated in place and become King Ghidorah. Anyway, so he becomes a supercharged Godzilla for Japan, sending out a. They don't realize he's no longer the Godzillasaurus anymore and is already Godzilla, so they end up supercharging him into a supercharged Godzilla form, which is larger by about 20 more meters, or 20 more feet, and something like that. And he's also meaner and more powerful and not friendly, so. And this Mecha King Ghidorah, recreation of King Ghidorah, which is beaten by that version of Godzilla, which remains throughout the Heisei or Heisei era. They basically bring the Mecha King Ghidorah back to defeat him after he beats the original King Ghidorah, so that he won't stomp Tokyo into oblivion. Anyway, and after that, finally the last enemy is called Bagan. Bagan. Never appeared in any films, though they were hoping to do that, but they just never got around to it. Appears in this game, and he's a really tough enemy. As a matter of fact, besides the form you first see Godzilla in during the I just played with, you get a second form after the fight with Biolante, where some extra G cells or special cells are. It's different than the films. They have their own plot to it here. But anyway, one of the scientist guys we saw on screen, he injects these cells into Godzilla and turns him into a supercharged Godzilla type of form. Then later on, they realize by charging him up with enough of a specialized type of super powerful radiation, he can be recreated into a Super Godzilla godlike form, which is the one you can use to take on both the Mecha King Ghidorah and the Bagan. So maybe someone will actually do a live stream where I play through it, because it's really not such a long game. You can play through it in a few hours or so at most. So anyhow, out here. Looks like my little lighting here is, looks like I may need to get some more batteries for this thing, as it seems to be running a bit low on me. Yep, I need to replace the batteries. So sorry if it's kind of darkening out a little bit more. Can't help it right now. Anyway, so that was basically Super Godzilla. Since YouTube has changed a little bit how they do things on all this, I can't really do as much for recommendations and links as I used to, but I will try to leave one for my friend Phil, Swear Gamers review video on this game. He also has a nice walkthrough, but I'll let you guys find and go check that out if you like. That's actually how I first learned how to play through and beat this game. So thank you, Phil. Anyway, happy Godzilla Day 2023, and if you enjoy this channel's content, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And please don't hesitate to leave any questions, comments, and suggestions down in the comment section below. As you guys will notice, besides getting a haircut and shave, I have been kind of low on putting out content for a bit. I'm not sure how much that's going to change, but this was kind of a special occasion, so I'm going to try to get back to a little more concrete content creation when I can. I'm just not sure how much or when it's going to really pick up. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful Friday. Hope you enjoyed this, and hopefully I will see you again whenever the next video drops.